Chimpanzees, and there are two species of chimpanzee, the common chimpanzee and the bonobo chimpanzee. Chimpanzees are special because out of all of the millions of living organisms and all of the branches of the family tree of life, which have unfolded over 3.5 billion years, chimpanzees are our closest biological relative. We are more closely related to chimpanzees than any other organism alive today, and the same is true of chimps. We are their closest relative today. Humans, chimpanzees, and gorillas are classified together in the subfamily Homininae of the family Hominidae. And of the three, gorillas are the most distantly related, perhaps separating from the human lineage around 10 million years ago. Human and chimpanzee lineages separated 5 to 7 million years ago, and great differences have accumulated since then. So, for example, while the human brain and the chimp brain share every region, there is no region of the human brain which chimps do not also have. The human brain is notable specifically because two regions, the cerebrum and cerebellum, have increased in size 3 times relative to that of chimps. Is this significant? Well, certainly it is. But there are differences among brains of related species which are just as significant, if not more so, found in other groups, such as bats or catfish or lemurs or New World monkeys. So these differences are not unlike what we see in other groups of related organisms. This increase in brain size was gradual. For millions of years, the ancestors of humans were improving their ability to walk upright, but their brain case had not yet expanded outside the chimpanzee range. And there are genetic disorders which cause microcephaly in humans, the disorder in which the human brain size is actually about the same as that of a chimpanzee. There are differences between human and chimp skulls. For example, the chimp skull, the lower jaw sticks out farther. The canines are larger. Obviously, a difference in the shape of the brain case. But there is not that great a difference between, say, this female bonobo chimp skull and that of Homo habilis, a primitive member of the genus Homo. While these differences are clearly significant, skull variations in related animals are common, and it is not at all difficult to find related organisms whose skulls vary at least as significantly as the differences between humans and chimps, if not much more so. The same can be said of tooth variations. It is very common to find variations in the teeth of related organisms, which are far more significant than those which separate humans and chimps. Humans have reduced the hair cover on their bodies, but there are examples of this among mammals such as elephants, rhinos, rodents, and others. There is a difference in locomotion between humans and chimps. Chimps are capable of some bipedal locomotion, but not as efficient as that of humans. But there have been crocodiles which were bipedal. There have been sauropod dinosaurs which were both bipedal and quadrupedal. Armored dinosaurs, horned dinosaurs, the same is true. And so style of locomotions can vary. Today there are lizards which are legless while others are capable of running on their hind legs like basilisks. There have been genetic changes which separate chimps and humans. So for example, chimps have 48 chromosomes, human 46, because two small ape chromosomes fuse to make human chromosome 2. This is not at all significant compared to the chromosomal differences which share many related organisms which vary far more than this. There are other genetic changes, nucleotide substitutions, additions, deletions, insertions of transposable elements. But given that human and chimp lineages have been separated for 5 to 7 million years, the genetic difference between humans and chimps is exactly what one would expect for organisms which have diverged for that amount of time. We are more than 97% chimpanzee at the genetic level, and chimpanzees are more than 97% human at the genetic level. 5 to 7 million years ago, the common ancestor of both humans and chimpanzees lived. And the study of chimpanzees today gives us an idea of what that common ancestor might have been like. Modern chimpanzees are capable of learning human sign language. They have vocabularies of hundreds of words. They can use sentences in which word order is important. You tickle me is different from me tickle you. They come up with their own creative names for objects. And there was a case where a female chimpanzee taught human sign language to an infant chimpanzee. There are many other examples of similarities. So, for example, learned behaviors on tool use are taught in one group of chimpanzees, varying from the learned behaviors taught in other groups of chimpanzees. This resembles how culture might have begun. In the wild, chimpanzees have been observed to make their own spears and go hunting with them. And so, when we look at chimpanzees, we are seeing our closest biological relative that perhaps gives us insight into what our common ancestor 5 to 7 million years ago might have been like.